house fell down just like his brother's. And when the dust cleared, there was a second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know, food would spoil if you just let it out there in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and the second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family because he built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house and no answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, Wolf, don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt a cold coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again, and the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pin. That was a very nice. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. And when the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down the pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the two pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting, so they jazzed up the story with all of that. Huff and puff and blow your house down, and they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar? Mm-hmm. And you see he's in jail. And his bucket says he's in the pig pen. All right. Have you guys ever heard that book before? Was it fun? I love this book. Okay. So do you guys see how much different that was, right? It was. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a big list of this story. Okay? So I'm going to call, or just raise your hand, and let's think of some things that were in this story. So, what were the characters? Yes?
The 3 pigs.
The 3 pigs. Good. Was there another character?
Wolf.
The wolf. Does anybody remember the name?
Alexander.
Alexander T. Wolf. Good. What were some other characters?
Granny.
His granny.
The police.
The police. Good. Were there any other characters? I think we got most of them, right? Okay, what about the setting? What's the setting again? The place. Very good. So where was the wolf? Where did the wolf go visit?
The straw house.
The straw house. What else? The stick house, good. And what did that little smart pig build?
Bricks.
The brick house, good.
And a jail too.
And there was a jail, good. There was a jail in the story. That was a place, that's a setting of the book. Was there something else in this story?
Wolf's house.
The kitchen, the wolf's house. going to people's houses. Why was he visiting their houses? He needed sugar. He needed sugar for what?
Granny's cake.
Granny's cake. Good. What were some other things from the story? What was one of the little pigs doing when he was in his house?
Shaving.
He was shaving his chinny chin chin. What did the wolf do when he was sick?
He sneezed.
Yes, you're right. He huffed and he puffed and he, what was that again? He huffed and he snuffed, right? What were some, can you think of any other differences? Or any other things from the story that we have here?
The wolf didn't die.
The wolf didn't die. The wolf went to jail. How about we say that? The wolf went to jail. Why did he go to jail?
Because he killed the pigs.
Because he killed the pigs.
No, he ate the pig.
Yeah, he killed He ate the pigs. That works. Good. I think we have a good list here, don't you guys think? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. So now we're going to learn how to contrast. What's contrast mean?
Compare.
Compare. No. Compare means same. Compare means we're going to pick out the same things. Contrast means we're going to pick the differences. Good. So, I'm going to give you an example here. So, what were some differences here that we can list? Does anybody know?
The wolf has a name.
The wolf has a name, exactly. So, in the first story, he was the big bad wolf. In the second story, he was Al. Right? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So, although we have things that are the same, that's not it. We're contrasting. We're telling the differences. So, can somebody tell me another difference?
There's no granny in the...
There is no granny in this one. Good. No granny in the second story. Good job, everybody. So, since we have listed a couple differences here, what I'm going to do is put you on your own, and you are going to come up with even more differences on your own. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I made my own example. I'm going to give you this worksheet, and I made my own example here, and I listed that there was you either write a sentence or draw a picture of contrasting. So something that was different that I noticed was that the wolf had a cup of sugar, right? And he had a sick grandma. So I either wrote a word in the box or a picture. So you need to think of 3 different examples that we came up with from the book. So you're going to pick something that are different. You're going to contrast, okay? So I'm going to give you a couple papers. Does everybody understand the directions? Okay. So you either write a sentence or you draw a picture. You don't have to do both. You need to come up with 3 different differences from one story to the other.